Nonetheless, Inter Miami, they keep the party going, keeping the Pepas playing because they just keep on winning. Whether Lionel Messi's on the pitch or not, they have got it going. They defeated Toronto FC in the round of 32 at Leagues Cup. They have now advanced to the round of 16 against the Columbus Crew. Luis Suarez gets a goal. Jordi Alba, maybe more impressively, 4 assists on the 4-3 win. So now we bring in Daniel Solana, our soccer expert, to kind of talk a little Inter Miami. Before we do that, Daniel Solana, we're watching the high jump right now at the Olympics. What do you think you could clear at the high jump if you attempted it today?
That's the one without the pole. That's pole vault, right?
That's the one. Yeah, you have to lead in with your back.
Your fall's very flopping.
I mean, maybe 3 feet if I got lucky.
I think I maybe could clear 2 inches, 3 inches.
I don't know, man. My vert is probably as thick as a credit card. Not gonna lie.
Oh man,
I am not the highest jumper.
How impressive was Inter Miami's win the other night, 4-3 over Toronto FC?
I mean, considering that they got a red card in the first 25 minutes of the game to one of their key players, the new incomer David Martinez, I'd say it's pretty impressive. You got to play a man down for about 70 minutes. And not against another team who hasn't had as strong of a season in MLS this year, but they've got stars in Insigne, Bernadeschi, and some other players, who could turn it up. Unfortunately, they had a couple penalties called against them that kind of kept Toronto in it. But if it wasn't for those penalties, man, it should have been 5 or 6-0.
So I should, because of the man down, that's why you have to say they figured they gave up 3 goals. Because, I mean, if looking at the game, they had a 2-0 lead and a 2-0 lead, gave up a goal in the 15th minute on the penalty, scored again with Suarez, your boy. Suarez scoring the 3rd goal to make it 3-1. And then Martinez scored to make it 4. They gave up 2 goals, and it was kind of interesting towards the end.
It was extremely interesting. And, the biggest thing that made an impact for the Toronto FC team was when they subbed out Bernadeschi, who's one of their major weapons. They brought in number 99, and I don't know his first name. His last name is Prince. And that guy, I don't know if you guys watched the game, but he's like 6'4". He was causing problems back there for Inter Miami. Big boy, had a lot of speed. And, they were getting in there on Inter Miami into the back line. And, of course, when you're playing down a man, you offer a lot of space in the midfield, and you gave them the opportunity to operate against you. And, look, good players are going to put the goals away. And Drake Callender had to make a couple saves there at the end to save Inter Miami, and he was huge. But overall, I mean, if you're an Inter Miami fan, you've got to be happy you're advancing to the round of 16. Next matchup is against the defending champions, MLS Cup champions.
You get defending MLS Cup champions Columbus Crew up in Columbus. They are also runners-up for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. What type of matchup can we expect there? That's going to be on Tuesday night, to be determined still. But what type of matchup do you expect from Inter Miami and the Columbus Crew?
Well, both teams are rolling right now. Inter Miami's 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. The Columbus Crew they lost 1 in their last 6 or 7, but it was kind of a fluke loss, and they tied 1 to Charlotte. But they've been scoring goals, a lot of goals in their last handful of games. I'd say 4 or 5 on each team that they put up. They put up 5 against LAFC about a month ago. And then last night they put up 4 against Sporting KC. Now, Sporting KC is not the strongest opponent, but still 4 goals in any competitive soccer match. You got to be pretty impressed.
Okay. Did they take Toronto a little bit, I want to say, were they looking a little past them after they scored those early goals? Because look, last time we talked, we were shocked that they beat Pachuca, right? Pachuca.
Yeah.
We were shocked that because that's the game we wanted. We wanted them to beat Pachuca because we didn't want to go to face the team, the number 1 team from that group, and they actually won it. So to become the number 1 team in the group, was there a sense maybe of I don't want to say overconfidence, but we could beat this team. We've beaten this team with and without Messi, and then start the game out with a 2-0 lead. Maybe did they start playing a little bit like, okay, we got this on the back?
Yeah, I think you can make the assumption that they were comfortable with the matchup. Obviously, much favorable matchup playing a team you're used to playing multiple times over the year than it would have been playing Pachuca, who you played them last year in sorry, not last year, you played Cruz Azul, but you haven't played that team So you're kind of getting, a mixed bag there. So obviously, I think the team was more comfortable playing with Toronto FC. They got the early lead, and they could have gotten comfortable, kind of playing in their game. And that might have played into the hands of Toronto and allowed them to attack them and kind of, put the pressure on the defense and cause those penalties. I mean, they were very stupid penalties. One of them was on Chelo Wigant, where he lost the ball in the box, and then he tried to put the ball in between the guy's legs in the box, messed it up, and then he just hacked at him. It's like, come on, dude. And the funny thing is, I was with my buddies, and you can see Luis Suarez yelling at him. He's got his mouth, his hand over his mouth like he always does. Who knows how many bad words in Spanish he must have said to Chelo Wigant. But I mean, and then the other penalty on Jordi Alba, I think, again, that's an if and depending on who the referee is. Of course, Jordi Alba slid underneath, but the forward stepped on him. So it could have gone either way, and then in terms of the red card, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been watching soccer so long. I still don't understand what happened, because how could the referee call a penalty, give the guy a yellow card, then go to the video assistant referee, the VAR, recall the play, say, hey, no, it's a foul outside the box. Now I'm going to give you a red. I don't understand that. Should have been a red either way. That's the way I was thinking. So I don't understand what the referee's thinking was there, but it definitely affected the game and the scoreline, because if Inter Miami had been with 11 the whole game, there's no doubt it would have been a blowout.
They did look good, even a man down. Speaking of looking good, your dude, he's our guy now too, for sure. Luis Suarez, like a fine wine. He just keeps getting better. And right when you think he's done, and I should have known, because in Brazil last year, he talked about wanting to leave. In Brazil, they said, oh, he's got all these knee problems, but Brazil wouldn't let him go. And I should have known. He's still got some juice. He has been, I'll be honest, for me, and tell me if I'm wrong, he's been better than advertised for Inter Miami this year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, if you can bring in a forward, and he, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's already at double-digit goals. I mean, if you're going to bring in your forward and he's going to get you 15, 20 goals, I think that's fantastic. And especially the way the season started off, where he looked a little slow in preseason, his knee wasn't up there. And there's folks that have been watching Suarez for a long time that were saying, just, relax, let the season go, because Suarez ends up, kind of warming up towards the end of the season, and he'll play better as the season goes on. And that's exactly what we've seen. I think Thursday night's matchup might have been one of the best, other than the hat trick that he scored against Orlando City. I think it might have been one of the best games that Suarez played, just based on position wise. He was marking, he was running a lot more. And obviously that goal was just top class. I mean, just chipping the keeper, and really, controlling the attack and allowing the ball to come to him and play off of his teammates is his strong suit. And he's shown that, he's definitely better than advertised.
Does he still have juice in the tank? I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We know he'll finish out this season. He's been fantastic, but is there a possibility there could be a return to Inter Miami next year? He and Messi and the whole team of Busquets and Alba and Tata Martino and Rojas and all those guys?
I mean, I can tell you, I don't know about Suarez. I know that he said this might be his last year, but personally, I think he's having a good time. I see him out on the field. He looks like he's having a great time with his friends. You see him after the game. He goes to the Messi's suite, plays with his kids, says hi to Antonella. They're having a great time. So if they can keep the group together, I think, Beckham and Messi and Busquets and Alba could be able to convince Suarez for one more year. It's really up to him whether, if his knee is going to hold up or not. And, the fact that he might not play international ball anymore, it probably speaks well for Inter Miami. It's going to be less games on him, less mileage, and it'll be more that he could offer Inter Miami.
All right, quick question. Leaving Inter Miami. I know you watched the final yesterday in the Olympics. You had to.
I did.
How exciting was that game? And is this the new Spanish Renaissance? Remember, it wasn't too long ago, like 12 years ago, they were winning every international tournament, and it seemed like they were the kings of soccer. Seems like and then obviously other teams started to come up. That group of stars from that Spanish team obviously got old and needed to be replaced. But this current crop of Spanish footballers, oh man, they are some phenomenal players. You just talk about like this great summer that Spain had, winning the Euro and then winning the Olympic gold this year.
Absolutely. I mean, and you said it, Spain is the only country other than Argentina to win 3 major trophies in a row. So they won Euro in 2008, the World Cup in 2010, and then Euro in 2012. Argentina just finished doing the same thing over the last 4 years. So, dude, I mean, Spain, like you said, they had a great team, some great stars in Xavi, Iniesta, but you know, every national team has to have some sort of recycle of players where you bring in some new players and introduce, and you're going to go through a rough, but no, not really, because after they won the World Cup, the year out, the next World Cup in 2014, they were grouped. So, and that doesn't happen that often too. So they had a rough patch of 4 or 5 years, but Vlad, I'm not taking anything away from what you're saying. What Spain has done this summer between the senior squad and now what you see with that U23 squad that they took, I mean, they have got some really good players, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with within, you know, football, at least for the next 8 years, because that's what you've got in that young crop. And look, you got to be excited for football just because they play a beautiful brand. They're going out to attack. It's not that old style that the older Spain team played, which was more back and forth, where they would kind of, you know, try to get you, bored looking at the ball, and then boom, they'd play a through ball and score. This is a much more attacking, fierce Spain. So definitely excited to see what those young guys can give, and not just in the international game. Definitely excited to see what young guys get signed from this Olympic tournament because the transfer window is still open. So there's a lot of things that are going to come into play over the next few weeks because of what just happened in the Olympics.
Speaking of Spaniards that are great, you mentioned Xavi. Is there any way that he knows enough English to possibly be considered to be the U.S. national coach?
I think he does know enough English. I just don't think he's the favorite. I mean, there's been other names. I know Herb Bernard, who was one of the coaches. I think he was a coach of one of the women's teams, of the women's French team. He was named as one of the favorites. You know, there was also Patrick Vieira, another, you know, French national team. But he's also rumored to be going to coach Atlanta United. So I wouldn't be surprised if for this next international break, the U.S. men's national team has an interim coach, and they take their time. And I think that's the right way to do it. You don't want to miss on this next hiring. If you're Matt Crocker and if you're USSF, you do not want to miss because you missed horribly on your first chance with Greg Berhalter. So I think the right thing is to take your time, make sure you get the right guy in there with the right experience. And between us, man, I think it's garbage that they require the coach to speak English. I mean, how many translators do we have in this world? We've got billions of people. It's not that hard. And most of the players that play on the U.S. national team today, you know, they're bilingual. A lot of them know enough Spanish to where maybe you could bring, you know, somebody who speaks Spanish. Now, you get into the French, and then maybe it gets a little bit complicated. But I'm not for that. You see other other national teams bringing in coaches from other countries. So I think that for USSF, that's a big miss, and they're losing out on a big crop of coaches.
Yeah, and they can't miss because we do have the World Cup coming here in a couple of years. And if you have a bad coach and you have another very lackluster showing, then that's when I start getting very upset.
You also have the 2025 Gold Cup, which is rumored for now, guys, to be inviting 2 teams from every confederation, including the CONCACAF teams that are going to take part, to make it a mini Copa America or a mini World Cup. Uruguay and Colombia are the 2 rumored from South America. France and Spain are the 2 rumored from Europe. I believe Senegal was one of the teams as well from the Africans. And then from Asia, it was Japan and Australia. Those are the rumored teams. If they're able to pull that off, guys, the next 2 summers is insane. You have that Gold Cup, and you have the Club World Cup that's going to be taking place in the United States, and 2026 World Cup. So the United States is the best place to be for soccer in the next 2 to 4 years.
That sounds awesome. That's good. That means there's going to be a lot of football to watch,
Absolutely.
Down here in the States. And if it's football coming down here in the States and watching, this market is one of the best markets to watch, and that they're going to definitely want to have these games, many games here. So I can't wait. Quick before you go, did you watch the women's game today?
I did. I mean, I was out playing golf, and I had the game on my phone there. So I was watching it. I saw the goal. That game was incredible. Back and forth. One of the better games in the women's Olympics that I've seen recently. It's a shame that it's Marta's last game, but you have to be happy for the women's national team. Like Dan started it today, the Redeem team. You know, they were able to come back after not winning the last gold medal, and you know they were able to win it. And also with some new crop of talent, Dan Day. I like it. I want to say, you know, I want to shout out Lindsay. I think it's Lindsay Nair, right? Unbelievable. I was having a chat with some folks, with some soccer folks, and you know, we were arguing who could be the best women's goalkeeper of all time. And I, you know, they were, you know, some folks have said that Nair should be the best one. And I said, well, you know, my Hope Solo might have something to say about that. Brianna Scurry might have, but after what I've seen the last 2 games from Nair, hands down, all-time greatest women's United States keeper.
I mean, let's just talk about it. We talked about Trinity Rodman's Wunder goal the other day. The U.S. women's team gets up 1-0, and maybe it was even an added time. Talk about the save Alyssa Nair had against the Brazilian team. They had her dead to rights. How amazing was that save?
That's what I'm saying. She even had one in the first half, too, that was absolutely insane. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying, because of what she's done in these last 2 games and those saves that she made, I don't know if you remember the one she made in the semifinals, but it was very, very similar to the one that Dibu Martinez made in the World Cup for Argentina against France, where she kind of stuck out her leg and saved it. And look, she was at it again today with her heroics. And all you can do is just give her a standing ovation, throw her flowers, give her gold medal, and just call her the best women's goalkeeper for the United States of all time. No doubt.
I'm all in on that. Real quick, Daniel Solana from the Battered Herons podcast, our soccer expert. Don't want to put you too much on the spot, but I'll do it nonetheless. In English and in Espanol, tell us who is going to win between Inter Miami and Columbus, and a quick reason why. Because I know you have the Spanish podcast too, so I want you to promote that also.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're on Battered Herons, both English and Battered Herons in Espanol. So for those of you listening in English, I've got to go with the home team. I got to say Inter Miami is going to win it. I think it's going to be a very tough game, but I think they have the depth to get it done, and they've showed, again, they're 8-1-1 their last 10 games. I don't see them cooling off at any point, and I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1. So for those of you listening in Spanish, like I said in English, creo que el Inter Miami va a ganar 2-1 contra el actual campeón de la MLS, Columbus Crew, el día martes. Así que si quieren escuchar el programa, estamos en Battered Herons en español en YouTube.
Sí, claro. Very good. What day is the Spanish podcasting? Or you can just probably go to the website, but I'm sure.
Absolutely. Every Monday night at 10 p.m. we do the Spanish podcast, and then we've got a podcast every single day in English, Monday through Thursday. We even had one this morning. We did Cafecito with the Herons, which is really nice to do, 7 a.m. podcast. So, you know, if you guys want to follow us, you've got my information there. It's at Danny Solana 5 or at Battered Herons. And then just one quick shout out to my buddies over at the Kendall Golf League. I placed 4th today in the Kendall Golf League Showcase. Guys, I was in it to win it there, and I double bogeyed the last 2 holes to fall out of the top 2. Yeah, I was in 2nd place going into the last 2 holes. So I got a shout out to my boys out there. Excellent round.
He pulled a John Rahm.
It was bad.
A true man for all seasons from Battered Herons podcast, our soccer expert, Daniel Solana. We'll see you next week.